Before we break down the two magic words, you need to understand why they work. Because without the psychology behind them, they're just phrases. And phrases don't attract women. Energy does. Presence does. Emotional control does. A woman doesn't fall for a man because he says something clever. She falls because his words reflect the strength of the man using them. Most men don't know this. They walk into interactions with women like nervous salesmen, trying to pitch themselves. They talk too much. They explain too much. They try to prove they're interesting, attractive, or worthy. And with every extra word, they bleed away masculine weight. The more they push, the weaker they appear. The more they try to pull her closer, the more she feels the urge to step back. But the men who attract women effortlessly, naturally, instinctively, move differently. They don't chase validation, and they don't fear silence. They speak less, but say more. Their words are simple, grounded, and deliberate. They don't try to win her over because they already know their value. And that certainty is what women feel first, long before they analyze anything logically. Have you ever watched a man who doesn't rush to answer a question, who pauses before speaking, who responds calmly even when she challenges him? There's something magnetic about that, something ancient. Women aren't attracted to the noise of a man. They're attracted to his stillness, his center, his ability to stay composed when everything else leans toward emotional chaos. This is where the Stoics were far ahead of their time. Epictetus taught that we only control two things, our actions and our reactions. And in the world of attraction, this principle is the entire game. Women are hypersensitive to emotional instability in men because instability signals weakness. But calm, grounded composure signals strength. It signals leadership. It signals a man who doesn't crumble under pressure. And that, on a psychological and evolutionary level, is deeply attractive. That's why the two words you're about to learn work so powerfully. They're not lines. They're signals. Signals that you don't panic, you don't overreact, and you don't need her approval. Signals that you operate from strength, not scarcity. Signals that you're a man who chooses instead of chases. And when you embody that energy, women lean toward you naturally. Their feminine instinct wants to understand you, draw closer, uncover the mystery that your composure creates. These two words aren't magic in themselves. They're magic because they reveal who you are beneath them. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly what to say, when to say it, and most importantly, why it works. Because this video isn't about memorizing phrases. It's about transforming the way you carry yourself as a man. Once you understand the psychology behind these words, you won't just attract women, you'll attract the right ones. The ones who feel your strength. The ones who respect your calm. The ones who respond to the man you are becoming. So take a breath, settle your mind, and step into this with the seriousness it deserves. Because the difference between a man who gets overlooked and a man who gets chased is often just two words. Number one, the first magic word, maybe. Most men answer a woman with certainty, either too eager or too defensive. They rush to say yes to impress her or no to protect their pride. But the rare man, the grounded man, the man who draws women toward him instead of chasing them, he answers with something entirely different. He answers with maybe. One word that instantly shifts the dynamic, not because it's clever, but because it carries a powerful message. I move at my pace, not yours. Maybe communicates that you're open, but not desperate. It signals that you're listening, but not bending. It shows curiosity without attachment. And this drives women crazy, not in a manipulative way, but in a deeply psychological way. Women are biologically wired to test, to sense weakness, to feel out a man's emotional center. Maybe tells her you're not rushing to please her. You're not scrambling to impress. You're not afraid she'll walk away. You're simply steady, grounded in your own frame. Picture this. She asks, "Are you free tomorrow?" The average man either trips over himself trying to say yes, or he overplays his hand with a cold no. But you breathe, you look at her, you shrug slightly and say, maybe. Watch what happens next. Suddenly she's leaning in, suddenly she's curious. Suddenly she wants to know what you're thinking because now she can't predict you. Maybe introduces mystery, and mystery is the birthplace of attraction. You didn't become distant, you became unpredictable. Attractive men don't give instant clarity, they give space for discovery. This isn't manipulation, this is psychological truth. Women feel attraction when they sense potential, not certainty. Certainty feels safe, but maybe feels exciting. It pulls her out of her head and into her feminine curiosity. She starts wondering what you're doing tomorrow, what your schedule is like, who you're meeting, why you're not immediately available. She begins to fill in the blanks. And in that mental space, you become more intriguing than any man who gives her a quick yes. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you answer with maybe, you dye her thoughts with possibility. You create room for her imagination to work in your favor. Instead of you chasing her interest, she begins chasing certainty. Maybe puts her in a position where she invests emotionally by seeking clarity, because emotional investment is the beginning of attraction. And there's a deeper layer to this. Women are used to men collapsing under pressure. They expect eagerness. They expect overreaction. They expect a man to shift himself for her instantly. When you don't, when you offer a grounded maybe, you demonstrate something she rarely sees. Restraint, control, a spine. A man who doesn't jump, doesn't rush, doesn't collapse into her timeline. That makes you stand out. That makes her nervous and excited. That makes her wonder. Because maybe tells her something no long message, no compliments, no effort ever could. You are not ruled by her presence. You choose. And that is the kind of man women remember, the kind of man they pursue, the kind of man they don't want to lose. Number 2, the second magic word, good. If maybe creates mystery, good creates power. It is the Stoic response that separates a man who is emotionally centered from a man who is emotionally fragile. Women test men constantly, not because they're cruel, but because they're wired to seek out emotional strength. They want to feel a man's reaction. They want to sense if he has a center or if he collapses the moment things don't go his way. And most men fail those tests without even knowing the test has begun. A woman might pull back, cancel plans, challenge your ideas, flirt with uncertainty, or say something that pokes at your ego just to see what you do. The weak man reacts. He gets upset, needy, defensive, emotional. He tries to negotiate, explain, or argue. The average man complains or tries to fix the situation. But the grounded man, the man who carries his masculinity like a silent weapon, simply says, good. Good is the verbal equivalent of standing still in a storm. It's a calm acknowledgement that you're unfazed, unshaken, and unmoved by whatever she throws at you. She says she's not sure about her schedule. Good. She says she needs space. Good. She teases you or challenges your belief. Good. The power isn't in the word itself. It's in the message underneath. I control my emotions. You don't. And nothing is more attractive to a woman than a man who cannot be emotionally manipulated. Imagine this moment. She sends a text that would normally throw a man off. I don't know if I can make it tonight. Most men panic. They respond with disappointment or frustration. But you pause, breathe, and reply with a single, clean, centered, good. Immediately, the energy shifts. Instead of pulling away, she feels pulled in. She expected a reaction. She expected a wobble. But instead, she hit a wall of masculine calm that she can't push over. And that calmness forces her to reevaluate your worth. Psychologically, good signals to her nervous system that you're not dependent on her. You're not thrown off balance. You're not trying to force anything. You're not afraid of losing her. That's what creates attraction, the absence of fear. When a man isn't afraid, a woman feels safe and challenged and intrigued all at once. She wonders why you are so calm. She wonders why you are not reacting. She wonders what's going on inside you. And in that curiosity, she becomes more emotionally invested. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." And in the dynamic between men and women, this is everything. A man who can respond with good is a man who has mastered his reactions. He doesn't crumble. He doesn't chase. He doesn't explain himself into weakness. He remains grounded in reality, not emotion. And that groundedness is what draws her deeper into her feminine. When you stay calm, she feels something rare, a man who can hold space instead of filling it with insecurity. And here's the hidden power. Good disarms escalation. It kills drama. It dissolves tension. It prevents emotional games from gaining momentum. Instead of being pulled into her world of feelings, you pull her into your world of stability. And women crave that stability more than any smooth line or romantic gesture. Good doesn't just attract her, it redefines you in her mind. You become the man she can't knock over, the man she can't easily figure out, the man whose approval she now wants. Because good tells her the truth. I am unshaken. I am centered. I am not moved by anything emotional you throw at me. And women are drawn to that like gravity. Number 3, why these words work. Most men think attraction lives in what they say. They believe the right compliment, the perfect message, or the smoothest line will create desire. But real attraction doesn't live in the words. It lives in the energy beneath the words. Maybe and good don't work because they're clever. They work because they reflect a man who is grounded, emotionally disciplined, and perfectly comfortable with uncertainty. And uncertainty, when controlled by a masculine man, is irresistible to a woman. Here's the psychological truth. Women are wired to assess a man's internal stability before anything else. Not his looks, not his success, not even his personality, his stability. They want to feel that a man won't fall apart under pressure, that he won't cling, beg, react, or crumble the moment something doesn't go his way. When you use maybe and good correctly, you radiate a message that bypasses logic and hits her instinct. This man is in control of himself, which means I can relax into my femininity. Women don't want to lead emotionally. They don't want to guide the connection. They don't want to be responsible for your stability. They want to feel your emotional structure like a fortress they can lean against. And these two words reveal that structure more clearly than anything else. Maybe tells her you don't rush to define things. You don't need certainty to feel safe. Good tells her you don't fight reality. You adapt to it. You accept it. You stay calm in it. That calmness is what women crave in a man more than anything else. Imagine two men. One receives a delayed text from a woman. He spirals, overthinks, sends 2 follow-ups, checks her social media. His anxiety leaks from his words. The other man, he gets the same delayed text. He shrugs, carries on with his day. When she finally replies, he answers with one word, clean and centered, good. Which man do you think she's more drawn to? The one who reveals instability, or the one who shows he has a life, purpose, and mission beyond her attention? This is the difference women feel when they encounter a grounded man. His reactions, or lack of reaction, speak louder than any sentence he could write. Women aren't attracted to mystery because it's cool. They're attracted to mystery because it signals self-control, it signals intention, it signals that the man is not operating from fear, but from inner strength. And a man who is not afraid becomes a man she wants to understand, because strength is rare, and rarity creates desire. This is exactly why the Stoics were so powerful. Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Women feel that freedom in your responses. When you say good, you signal that you are free from emotional chaos. When you say maybe, you signal freedom from pressure. You are not trapped by her reactions, her timelines, or her expectations. You choose. You move with dignity. And that freedom is what pulls her into deeper attraction. Psychologically, women are far more sensitive to emotional subtext than men. They read tone. They read timing. They read micro-expressions, silence, pauses, energy, tension. When your responses are simple and stable, their nervous system interprets you as safe. And when they feel safe, they feel feminine. And when they feel feminine, they feel attraction. Maybe creates curiosity. Good creates surrender. Together, they form an emotional pattern that draws her in without force. Number 4, when to use these words. Timing and context is everything. Most men hear advice like this and immediately misuse it. They start throwing maybe and good into every conversation like they're magic spells. But these words only work when the timing is right, when they're rooted in calm masculine energy rather than insecurity or forced confidence. The power of these words comes from when you use them, why you use them, and how you deliver them. Attraction isn't about what you say, it's about the moment how you say it. Women test men constantly, not because they're cruel, but because they want to feel your center. They want to know whether you're stable, grounded, composed, or rattled, reactive, and easily shaken. And the moments they test you are the moments when these words carry the most weight. When she pulls back, when she becomes uncertain, when she challenges you, when she cancels, when she tries to provoke jealousy, when she teases you to see if you'll break. These are the crucibles where a boy collapses and where a man reveals himself. Take this scenario. She texts you, "I'm not sure if tonight will work." The needy man panics. He sends long explanations. He tries to renegotiate. He begs for another time. But you respond with a calm, unbothered, good. Suddenly the frame shifts. She expected disappointment. She expected emotional wobble. But instead, she sees a man who refuses to let a small change in plans disrupt his equilibrium. Your lack of emotional reaction becomes the exact reaction that deepens her attraction. Or imagine this. She playfully tests you by saying, "We'll see." Most men cling harder. They try to force clarity. They try to impress. But the grounded man simply smiles and replies with maybe. Not dismissive, not aloof, just calmly non-committal. That one word shifts the energy from pressure to polarity. It returns the power back to you, not through dominance, but through restraint. You're not chasing, you're not rushing. You're not trying to control the outcome, and that makes her want the outcome even more. These words also work powerfully when she challenges your opinions, when she pushes back on something you said or questions your choices, or tries to get a rise out of you. A reactive man debates, he explains, he gets emotional, but the grounded man listens, pauses, and lets out a simple stoic, good. Not sarcastic, not cold, just calm acceptance. When you do this, you communicate something far deeper than verbal dominance. You show her emotional strength. And here's the truth most men never realize. Women don't actually want a man who agrees with everything they say. They want a man whose sense of self is so solid that he doesn't crumble under pressure. A man who can stay calm in the face of emotional turbulence. A man who doesn't perform for attention. A man she can't easily sway. That is what creates attraction. Not loud confidence, not forced dominance, quiet, unwavering stability. Epictetus taught, circumstances do not make the man, they reveal him. These moments, the cancellations, the tests, the challenges, don't create attraction. They expose it. They expose whether you are emotionally weak or emotionally grounded. They expose whether you bend your reality around her or she adjusts herself around you. They expose if you're chasing or choosing. And when you respond with maybe and good at the right moments, you reveal a man who cannot be shaken off his path. You reveal strength. You reveal composure. You reveal that your life, your presence, and your time are valuable. So valuable that you don't need to force a connection. You simply allow it to flow toward you. Number 5, what men do wrong. Before you can fully understand the power of maybe and good, you have to understand why most men fail spectacularly before they ever get close to attraction. Because the truth is, it's not that women are impossible to understand. It's that men unknowingly sabotage themselves. They crush their own presence under desperation, insecurity, and emotional noise. They talk too much. They chase too quickly. They react too intensely. And every one of those behaviors is a signal that screams, I'm unsure of myself. Please validate me. Let me paint the picture clearly. A woman says she might be busy. The average man immediately tries to win her back. He over-explains his schedule. He tries to prove he's flexible. He sends paragraphs that nobody asked for. In his mind, he's showing interest, but in hers, he's revealing uncertainty. Women don't fall for effort, they fall for certainty. And nothing screams uncertainty louder than a man who feels the need to justify himself. His words betray him, his timing betrays him, his emotional state bleeds into everything he does. Or think about when she challenges him. Maybe she disagrees with something he said. Maybe she teases him. Maybe she makes a small comment designed to provoke a reaction. The average man jumps into debate mode. He argues, he defends, he tries to correct her, he takes the bait. And in doing so, he reveals just how fragile he actually is. Women test because they want to feel your strength. When you fail the test by reacting emotionally, you show her there's no strength to feel. Another mistake? Over-texting, calling too soon, following up too quickly. He fills silence with anxiety. He seeks reassurance. He turns every pause into a crisis. And every time he behaves like this, he tells her the one thing no woman wants to feel. You matter more to me than I matter to myself. When a man gives away his center, a woman loses attraction instantly, not because she's cruel, but because her biology rejects emotional instability. Think about it. Women are wired to seek security, to sense if a man can handle pressure, lead effectively, and stay composed. When she feels a man's desperation, she feels unsafe, not physically, but emotionally. She starts to feel like she would have to anchor him. And nothing kills attraction faster than a woman thinking she has to be the stable one. Even worse, men try to talk their way into attraction. They think the more they say, the more she'll believe they're valuable. But every extra word weakens the frame. Every unnecessary sentence dilutes the message. Masculinity is not expressed through explanation. It's expressed through presence, through controlled speech, through intentional silence, through the ability to remain grounded when her emotions or responses fluctuate. Number 6, the Stoic principle behind the magic words. Attraction isn't a game of clever tricks. It's a reflection of the inner world you carry as a man. Maybe and good are powerful because they come from a place the Stoics understood deeply, a place of internal stability. Men today chase external control. They try to control women's responses, women's emotions, women's availability. But Epictetus taught that the only thing we ever control, fully, absolutely, is our mind and our reactions. When you embody that truth, you speak differently. You carry yourself differently. You move slower, cleaner, calmer, and that calmness is what a woman feels long before she registers the words you say. When your emotional world stays unmoved, you become the anchor she cannot find in other men. Women live in emotions, men live in structure, but modern men have forgotten their structure. They react to everything: a delayed text, a cold tone, a small test, a moment of silence. Their emotions leap like flames at the slightest breeze, and women feel it instantly. They sense instability the way a sailor senses a shifting tide. But a Stoic man, the man who breathes before responding, who observes before reacting, communicates a kind of strength that is rare in today's world. His presence says, "The storm can rage, but I remain." And when a man remains grounded, a woman naturally relaxes into her feminine. She doesn't have to lead. She doesn't have to manage him. She doesn't have to guess what emotional version of him she's going to get. She feels safe in the stillness he carries. This is why maybe is so powerful. It is the verbal expression of detachment, not coldness, not aloofness, but the kind of calm detachment Marcus Aurelius wrote about when he taught that our peace comes from choosing what truly deserves our energy. Maybe doesn't push her away. It doesn't pull her close. It simply leaves the door open without forcing the moment. It signals that you're not held hostage by her expectations or the outcome. You are present but not dependent, available but not desperate, interested but not bending. And that kind of clarity makes a woman feel a spark of attraction she can't fully explain. And then there's good, the most stoic word in the entire language of men. To say good when things don't go your way is to embody one of life's strongest masculine principles: acceptance. Instead of resisting the moment, you absorb it. Instead of fighting reality, you breathe through it. Instead of collapsing into emotion, you remain unshaken. When she says she's uncertain, when she pushes back, when she challenges you, your calm, good is not passive. It's powerful. It tells her you don't need control to feel strong. You don't need reassurance to feel valuable. You don't need her to validate your existence. You are grounded in yourself first, and everything else is secondary. Women don't fall for men who chase perfection. They fall for men who hold their center, men who can be disappointed without collapsing, men who can be challenged without fighting, men who can be uncertain without losing themselves. That is the essence of Stoicism. And that is why these two simple words carry so much weight. They're not magic because they manipulate. They're magic because they reveal the truth. You are a man who can handle life without flinching. That truth pulls her closer, softens her edges, and awakens her instinct to trust you. When you speak from a Stoic foundation, you don't talk to attract. You attract because of the way you talk. Maybe and good are just the surface-level expressions of that deeper inner world. Any man can memorize those words, but only a grounded man can make them feel real. A woman knows the difference instantly. She can feel whether your calmness is authentic or forced. And when it's authentic, something in her shifts. Her voice softens, her energy relaxes, her guard lowers, because she senses a man who can carry himself. And maybe, if she's lucky, a man who can carry her too. If this video shifted something in you, if it made you slow down, breathe deeper, and see women through a clearer lens, then do one thing right now. Type, "I choose my energy" in the comments. Not for me, for you. It's a reminder that you're done reacting, done chasing, done giving your peace away to anyone who hasn't earned it. It's your declaration that from this moment forward, you lead yourself first. Make sure you subscribe if you want more videos that sharpen your masculinity, strengthen your mind, and reveal the truths most men never hear until it's too late. This channel isn't entertainment. It's a place for men who are rebuilding their center, reclaiming their power, and walking the world with the quiet confidence of someone who finally understands himself. And if you're ready to go even deeper into Stoicism, psychology, emotional discipline, and the invisible dynamics between men and women, then join the Brotherhood. This is where the real work begins. This is where boys become men. This is where men become unshakable.